Hello, good evening, and welcome to the Talkin Kop. I'm Gav. With me is Kev. We're going to talk about Salah and Endo returning to the action. England have made the European Euro 2024 final, beating Holland with a late goal from what's his face, Watkins. And we're going to talk about slot settling in. We're going to a couple of transfer things as well, and it seems to be the transfer window of the centre backs, which we'll talk about in a little while. Kev, how are you?
Good, good. I don't know. Watch that tonight. Watch the last two games last night. Spain are so good, aren't they?
Well, I didn't see it.
Well, you were there. You were over there. What's the buzz like
Um,
over there with it?
I was over there when Spain played Germany. I was in
Yeah,
Mallorca for Spain playing Germany, and the Spanish are just so relaxed over this side. Like they're just like,
yeah.
yeah, they're so relaxed. They weren't bothered by Germany. I got to talking to a couple of Spanish people, lads over there, and they were like, not bothered by Germany. Like we just were convinced this team will win the whole tournament.
Yeah.
They're delighted with how solid they are. Look at the back; they seem to control midfield. And then when you go to like that 16-year-old fella, you have Williams. You've a lot going forward. Danny almost come to the fore in the last couple of games. They just seem so relaxed over where they're heading. Not only for this tournament but into the future. They're really they just feel like this Spain team is pouring but can actually get better. So, but
Tonight was a bit of a war of attrition, wasn't it? It was like
well, I
England
didn't
were
see
good for the
I
first
didn't
half.
see the Spain France game because my flight got delayed coming home, so I was in
All
the
right,
air
okay.
for the whole game. You know, um, but so I didn't see any of that. But tonight's game, I actually fancied England before it. I did
Mhm.
fancy England before it. I thought, I think as much as England have kind of dogged their way to this final not being good, I think Holland have been more or less the same. You know, not really having brilliant performances. Their best performance was probably their first game, isn't it? Against who did they beat in their first game? They went 2-0 in their first game. They missed a load of chances. But that was probably their best performance all round. But I just felt tonight that England had a bit more going forward. They could change the game a bit more. And it turned out they did. And
Yeah.
overall, I think England deserved it. You know, I think they showed more ambition. I think Holland score and then you're kind of going, right, you know, it's a bit of a soft penalty, let's be honest. But
Yeah.
England overall, I think, controlled the game. They controlled midfield. They looked more threatening. And the only time Holland looked threatening was when they decided that they weren't a minnow and they come out and try play some football and they opened England up once or twice. But overall, I think England, yeah, they deserved that win tonight. I think it's probably one of the worst sides performance wise I've seen get to a final. Um, but
It's up there. It's up
yeah,
there.
but overall tonight they deserved it. You can't say any more than that. They did
No, no,
deserve it
no.
overall.
Hundred
For
percent.
me, they deserved it.
Yeah. 100%. I mean, I was just thinking before we come on, you go back to the Greece side in 2004, dogged their way to win it. The Danish side in 92 came from absolutely nowhere and won it. And to be fair, in 2021, that Italy side were no great shakes when they won it.
Yeah.
So this is the one tournament where on a day, anyone can beat anyone because for all of England's problems that they have they have get match winners in that squad. So Spain have the form. They've been the most attractive. Spain have been the one country that have played in this tournament so far that I've looked at that resemble what an attacking club side would look like. The way they press, the way they're comfortable on the ball, the way they make runs off the ball, everything about the way Spain play. I really enjoy watching them. But at the same time, England have players that can go and win it as well. So I mean, we've got players coming home as well, going on holiday now. Ibu last night, the Dutch lads today.
Yeah.
So and we've seen a few come back today. So they're probably going to get. Arguably, they probably won't join up with Liverpool until maybe in the US.
Yeah, I would have thought like if you look at so there's not much difference between Van Dijk and Gakpo going out tonight as say Trent and Joe Gomez being
Final, yeah.
Sunday. You're probably looking at
Yeah.
Sunday is what is it the 15th, is it, or something like that?
Well, today's the 10th.
10th, so 14th, is it?
14th, yeah.
Yeah. You're probably looking at them not coming back until around the 1st of August.
Yeah.
You'd expect
So
them
it'll
to
be
get 2 or
over in the
3 weeks
States by
off.
then.
Yeah, we will be over in the States by then, yeah. You will, yeah.
Yeah.
But
And to be
look,
fair, they're going to need it because next season is a really long season.
yeah, but when you look at
You know,
it, Gakpo's played an awful lot. Virgil has. Trent hasn't really. Gomez
and
hasn't done
Joe's played
anything.
nothing. Like,
Gravenberch hasn't. Did Gravenberch get a
no.
minute?
No. I don't think he's even come off the bench.
Yeah, so it's one of those where you probably see them. They'll arrive in America when Liverpool are playing. I think Liverpool play on is it the 27th?
27th is the first game. There's 3 games over there.
The
I
24th or
think
the
that
3rd or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think they're over there for long. I think they're over there for the bones of a week.
Yeah, I think
And
it's the
they're back.
27th, the 31st, and the 3rd or 4th of August, I think. And then they're
Well,
back to play.
our bank holiday is the 5th of August.
Yeah, and then they're
So
back,
that's a bank
they're back
holiday
to
Monday.
play. Is it Sevilla?
Sevilla on the Sunday, I think.
The 11th or something like that, isn't it? They've
Yeah.
The dates now, I could be wrong on those dates,
Yeah.
but I know it's not a hell of a lot of games they have in pre-season.
No,
but look, yeah, Virgil and Cody and Gravenberch now, they'll get the time off. Trent and Gomez will get their time off, and we'll see where it goes from there. But England have made the final. They play Spain. My thing with looking at it, it's very easy to go, yeah, Spain will win that. The reason I think they will is Spain will keep the ball for fun. They'll keep the ball for fun, and they'll work it until it just, till teams give up. And I think England have defended quite well from crosses and different things. But when teams have actually played around them at times, I think England have looked a bit susceptible, and that's where Spain will look to do. And they'll definitely look to get between these wing backs and centre backs into those pockets and do some damage.
Danny Olmo has been outstanding.
He's just come out of nowhere. Danny Olmo in the last couple of games, and he comes on for was it Pedri?
Comes on for Pedri. Yeah, he came on for Pedri.
Yeah.
Pedri's. I don't know if Pedri's tournament is over. I think it probably could be, but But yeah, even if they decide to play, if Pedri can make the final, and they decide to play Olmo, Christ Almighty, Danny Olmo looks the most similar player to Bobby Firmino that I've seen out there that could play that role.
Yeah,
the hybrid
he's been
role.
really good. I thought he was so impressive against Germany, Danny Olmo, the way he just found pockets of space, moved the ball around, and he's just an option all the time. And he seemed to be he just came on and just linked everything brilliantly for them. So, it was. Yeah, he was being really good, Danny Olmo. He's been linked with Man City as well, I've seen.
Yeah, there's just see why you've been away, I suppose, for the week. If you've zoned out of football, the rumor mill is doing the business like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah,
but actual deals getting over the line since the Villa, Chelsea, all those clubs had their merry-go-round. Yeah, not a lot has happened. I think the biggest deal to go through so far that I was looking at was David Luiz going to Juventus, which has been a while back now, and Olise going to Bayern Munich.
Yeah.
I think that's a good deal. I think that's a really good deal because I think he goes to Bayern and I think he plays.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were looking at him at all and he come to Liverpool, he doesn't start automatically because Salah would be in front of him. Where if he goes to a Bayern Munich,
big money as well.
Club, 50-something million pounds.
60 million, yeah.
60 million euro, yeah. 50, 52, 53, yeah. I'm just looking at it here. 58 million euro went for, about 50 million pounds. But at his age, with his injury record, there's a bit of a gamble in it. But the upsides are huge. The upsides are absolutely huge.
Yeah, because he's quality.
But apart from that, you look at it, David Raya went through, but we knew that was happening. Bobby Reid has gone from Fulham to Leicester on a free. Adrian gone to Betis. Interesting one, actually. Brentford keeper, Thomas Strakhoiser, used to be at Lazio. He's gone to AEK Athens. So I don't know where that leaves Brentford now with their goalkeeping situation.
Yeah.
So they've got money in their pocket to burn and potentially could have more money in their pocket down the line if bids come in for Ivan Toney.
Yeah.
And another one, a Liverpool old boy, Philippe Coutinho, has joined Vasco da Gama.
All right. Kev, of course, did say David Luiz. What he meant was Douglas Luiz.
Douglas Luiz. Look,
Sorry. Look,
they've
all,
got
they're
the
all the
same
same,
hair.
them Luizes.
They've got great hair. What can you do?
Yeah, exactly. Let me see. Jerry says, we're linked with Jeremy Frimpong as a right winger. 34 million buyout expires Friday week. Not for me.
I don't know.
You know, I think my thing about him is if you're playing a right winger, I like my right winger to be able to score goals. And
Score goals
to me, he never looks comfortable in front of goal. He looks comfortable running at people and doing all that, but just not for me.
I think he got
Ashley
14
says,
or 15 goals last season.
Yeah, Kefren Thuram gone to Juventus as well, says Kevin Ball. Yeah, correct. Ashley says Betis on the 26th, Arsenal on the 24th, United on the 3rd, Sevilla on the 11th. Kevin Ball says, you're not a winger, is he? No, he's not. He's a right wing back for me.
He's a right wing back in the 3, 100%.
Yeah. But he did start against France in the Euros for Holland, didn't he? And
as a winger, yeah.
Yeah, and a couple of minutes into the game, he's put in, and a winger that looks to score goals gets in and gets a chance, and his first 2 touches on that brings him away from goal, and I went, nah, not for me. He's just not for me. Yeah.
If you're playing a back 3, if you're playing a 3-4-3, and he's your right mid who drop, kind of like what Saka done for England.
Yeah.
He'll attack the box when he's got space to run into it, but his primary job is to come back and make it a back 5 when you're defending.
Yeah.
He's perfect for that, but we're never ever going to play that.
Yeah. Jerry says, I agree, Gav. I like the player, but Kudos is the only right winger for me. Yeah, I'm with you. I think Kudos is the only right winger for me as well.
It's very quiet on him.
Yeah, it is very quiet on him. It's very quiet on a lot. I think there's a lot being done. We'll get on to the centre back stuff in a minute because it's really interesting with regards to who's looking at who and supposedly who's looking at who, but we get on to it in a bit. But Arne Slot is settling in at the AXA. He's had a lot of the young guys in there for the last week or so now. They've all been in, and players are starting to slowly come back. Today it was the turn of Salah and Endo to arrive back in. Salah looks an absolute specimen. To be fair, people go, look, he's getting old, and you're looking and going, we just stop. But some great photos there today of Salah in the canteen and all this sort of stuff. Seems to be very open, very kind of easy going, having a laugh, different things like that. Because you do watch for things like that.
Do you think the haircut's taken a couple of years off him?
Yeah, he looks a bit.
I think he does,
Yeah, he looks a bit younger with it. I think. Veranda Chases is the final late game. As Jamal had to be subbed at 10:59 as he's only 16 and against the law in Germany to work after 11 p.m. Yeah, from what I understand on that, athletes under the age of 16, athletes at the age of 16 are not allowed to perform after 11 p.m. in Germany. But if he does go on
his birthday on Saturday.
If he does go on to play or whatever, I think the Spanish get some sort of fine. And I don't think they'd be asked, to be honest with you.
I think he turned 17 the day before the final.
Yeah. 17 might be different.
Season pro by then,
Yeah. Sure, he's an outfit at that stage. He'll have grey hair like Douglas and David Luiz. But the lads are back. They're starting to come back. And one thing I have noticed, Kev, is very intense early doors. Yeah. You kind of think, you break them in and the thing, but a lot of intense work going on early doors, and and maybe that's always happened under Klopp, and but it seems to be right straight into it, no messing about here. And obviously the fitness and the ability to go longer is going to be a big thing in this Arne Slot side, but because players are back and literally he has them running, chasing, fighting, punching each other, all sorts of stuff. It's been nice to watch though, hasn't it?
The bits I've seen of it, apparently he's got rid of that endurance test that they used to do. He's got them coming back. We've all seen it now where they do that 6-minute run at a high pace to maintain that pace and to see how they go with that. And the first one I saw, I think, was Costas. Was it Costas, Curtis Jones, and no, it wasn't.
Sepp Vandenberg, wasn't
it? Sepp Vandenberg, Conor Bradley,
Kwanzaa.
and Kwanzaa, yeah. And the three of them collapsed at the end of it. But I've seen a few of the others as well. The ball work early doors, it still throws me because you still have the mentality from you hear about preseason back in the day, and it was like, right, you're going to be running through sand. It's going to be endurance training and this. And yes, I'm working on it with the ball straight away, and they all have it. It's mini games, it's movement, it's touch. There was one clip there where he was talking about taking a pass on the right foot and opening your body out to lay it off. It's little. I think he's very much a details man. I think he's very much. That's what's coming across to me. He's all about the minute details because they're all supreme. They're all brilliant footballers. They wouldn't be at Liverpool if they weren't brilliant footballers. But it's little details, and I think that's what's coming across for me anyway.
Yeah, it's interesting. When you're watching pre-season, and again, you think, right, they want to get fit and they want to be, ball work. You should always be working with the ball. In my opinion, it's a game of football. You know what I mean? You should always be, working with a football. But I was laughing a little bit at they were playing these small-sided games, and the amount of slide tackles going in, big tackles going in, and it was like, is that a sign of lads, wanting to impress and wanting to do this and wanting to that? Because there was a few tackles flying in, like sliding tackles. It was, again, for a couple of days into a pre-season, it was a bit heavy for me. Like, I was like going, relax, lads, there's only 3 days in here.
Yeah, it's all grand until someone gets a right clatter, and we start hearing horror stories about ankles and shins and what have you. So and so is out for 6 weeks after a training ground incident, what have you. But no, I don't think. I mean, a lot of the tackles, they might look meaty, but I don't think there's anything malicious in any of it. But it shows the intensity. The intensity is good, and I mean, go back to the press conference. And when he was talking about the tactics and the way he wants to play and the fluidity that he wants to bring in to us in the attack, then those small games, those little one-touch, pass and move stuff game, that'll be drilled right into them, and they're already going to be comfortable. This is not new to them.
No, it's not new to them.
It's just muscle memory, and I think that's a lot of the reason why I think we've been so quiet with ins and outs so far is because he needs bodies. He needs people around the squad. He needs people around to be able to do this stuff with the players who are going to be coming back. The other side of it, he physically doesn't know any of these people. This is all brand new for us as fans as well. It's been a long time since we've had a manager come in, and this is his first pre-season working with the squad. It's been 9 years. So this is all new to everyone. New coaches, new manager, young players. It's an awful lot to take in. So that's why part of me is looking at it thinking, if there's going to be changes in and out with us, I think it might be late. It's starting to feel like that now.
Well, they have they've basically come out and said Liverpool won't be doing any business in July. End of story. And maybe you can read whatever way you want into that. I've seen the reaction of people to the smallest detail is fucking mental. Like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, what do you mean we're not doing business in July? Oh, look at us falling behind again, not signing people. And I the way I read that was, well, if we're not doing any business in July, the Euros, the Copa America, is that affecting that? Maybe. Does he genuinely want to give his squad a good look over? Maybe.
Probably.
But, let's be honest about it. If he's going in there, I've seen reports like Sepp Vandenberg has massively impressed Arne Slot since pre-season began. I was like, Sepp Vandenberg's done laps of pitches and a few ball work and 6-minute runs. Like, who the fuck is believing this stuff? And I'm not saying Sepp Vandenberg isn't a good player, but it's it looks like Liverpool won't look for a centre back because Sepp Vandenberg's really impressed Arne Slot. And I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. Come on. You know what I mean? Yeah. At the end of the day, I'd be amazed if Arne Slot turns around and says, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make Sepp Vandenberg my fourth centre half this summer. He's not. He's just simply not, right? In my opinion. Mm-hmm. But when you get people going, Sepp Vandenberg's really impressed him, that means we're not signing a centre back, and you're like, fucking hell, right? But the way I look at it is if Richard Hughes and Ernest Slot are in constant contact daily, they've both said it on numerous occasions.
Yeah.
You know, they have who their targets. They have who they want, and it's either a case of, yeah, let's look at this. We might like player A, B, and C, but let's look into it, and we may just take player A and B. We mightn't go for C, or we may actually need a player A, B, C, and D, but they're not going to be rushed into it. They're not, and as well as that, if they come out and said we're looking to do business, all of a sudden, like apparently they've got a £4 million bid from somebody for Nat Phillips, and
Trabzonspor.
Yeah, Trabzonspor, right? Yeah,
Trabzonspor,
Trabzonspor, right? And it's like, no, Liverpool are like, no, 3 years left in this deal, we want £8 million. And people are like, oh, just take the 4. And you're like, seriously, if we just take the 4, right? And then it turns out we don't want to pay 55 for the player, and they want 60. And we turn around and go, no, we're not paying the 60. And all of a sudden now, you're just take the 4 here and just pay the 60 there. Like, it's a bit mad. Like, they're not going to come out and say, Sepp Vandenberg, Nat Phillips, boom, 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 they're all for sale. They're not going to do that. They're not going to do that.
No.
Part of the whole thing of, we're not going to do business in July is it's basically saying we're under no pressure and we're in no rush for these players that other teams fancy, right? And they're fringe players for us, but we're in no rush here. So we will get our best prices. And if you've learned nothing from the likes of Michael Edwards and even to, Richard Hughes in his past job at Bournemouth, they like to get good deals. And they won't, and they're under no pressure. And part of it then is Arne Slot wanting to look at the squad. You know what I mean? Wanting to look at the squad.
I think that's a fair part of it. The one thing I'll say about Sepp Vandenberg is he's done every single thing that the club has asked him to do. Go out on loan, try to improve. Go to Germany, play games, try and improve. Statistically, he's had a really good season. Yeah. And he's done everything you can ask of him. Him and Arne Slot are from the same town. They met each other apparently a week before Slot arrived to Liverpool. I remember overhearing it in one of the videos. And I'm convinced that if you were looking at signing Sepp Vandenberg from Mainz on the back of the season that he's had to come in and supplement the squad, people wouldn't have seen him. They'll have looked at the stats that he's given out, compared him to the other centre-backs of his age group in the Bundesliga and gone, yeah, okay, that's a decent bit of business. Take 15, 20 million, it's a bit of a gamble. Could be on the long run, it could be worthwhile. But because we've had him for so long, and because of the circumstances of how we bought him and the amount of loans that he's had, he's cannon fodder now. I just think that Slot rightly will look at this month and think, okay, this is what we have. Let's see what you got, and then go from there. Because if he doesn't do that, what does that say to everyone else?
Yeah,
he's prejudged. He's prejudged us before he's walked in the door.
Yeah,
he's banging out this guy on loan and selling this after he's been working with us for a week.
But the thing is, Kev,
the shits through the whole club.
I know that, but the thing is, Kev, right? This is a player that reportedly done an interview at the back end of last season, right? Or just after the season ended, saying, I want to move, Liverpool are pricing me over move, boom, 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 boom. And now he's at the Axe turning up, and all of a sudden it's reported, they're from the same town, they met each other.
No, I'm just looking at it and thinking, look at that interview, I want to go and play.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fine.
I'm not going to go and play at Liverpool,
maybe
I want to go and play somewhere else.
But maybe what happens here is that, and just in Sepp Vandenberg's case is, they look at him and they say, what do we need? And in my opinion, we need a centre half that is going to start games for Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think Sepp Vandenberg is that player.
No, and I don't either. But at the same time,
but the thing is, at the same time, you have to give him a chance to show what he has.
Yeah.
So, and turning that all around, then the club have to turn around and go, we're not doing any business. We're fine, and we're going to assess everything. So that's basically telling you that if Mainz want that player and we want 15 million, and Mainz don't want to give more than 10, well, we're saying to Mainz, fine, don't give us this 15. We're going to keep him here. We're going to assess him, and then other clubs come along and go, fuck, if he's assessed and they really like him, It could cost us
And he's
20.
still there,
Let's
yeah.
give them the 15. It's all a game. It's
course
all
it
a
is.
game. And I'm not saying they're playing games with players just for the crack. They're not. But Arne Slot gets a lot more respect from the likes of Sepp Vandenberg and others, where he says, I'm bringing them in, I'm going to let them have pre-season, and I'll make a call on them. But at the same time, we can't go around saying we're looking to sell this, and this. Because if you value Phillips at 8 and you take 4, and you value this fella at 15 and you take 8, right? All of a sudden now, it doesn't sound like an awful lot, but you're 11 million down on what you value them.
And you're also revealing yourself as a soft touch.
Yeah. And then there might be another player out there that you want 10 and you get 5. And next of all, you're 15 million down, right? And then you're 15 million down. And it doesn't sound like an awful lot, but 15 million could be the difference between you then going and signing a player where you're willing to pay 80, but they want 90. And you go, can't do it. We've lost fucking too much money at this side. Like, and that's how I ran. That's simply how I ran. Like, we don't go out and go boom, 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 sign whoever you want, pay wherever you like. We just don't do it. But it's been good to see them all back. It's been good to see the intensity in it. Players coming back now, and you'll see more arriving back in. There's a few at the Copa, there's a few still at the Euros. Some have gone out tonight, but it's yeah. Like, I've enjoyed watching. I've enjoyed watching the coverage. This window though seems to be all about centre backs, right?
Everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah. So if you look at like the first one to pop up early in the summer, was Lenny Euro. Then you've seen as the Euros got underway, you had Calafiori, who's with Bologna, I think, isn't he?
Bologna, yeah.
Yeah, the Italian centre back. You've seen, and it's kind of all. It's like Man United at a starting point, and then it's all reaching its tentacles out in all different directions, because you know I've seen people going, you know, oh, Calafiori, we should be all over, and I'm kind of going, you watch them for fucking 3 games, lads. Seriously, you know, relax. I thought he was okay.
Yeah, I think he's good.
I think he's a good centre back. I do think he's a good centre back. The fact he's Italian, not many of them settle in the Premier League.
It gives you that, doesn't it?
And there was parts of his game where I thought pace and power might hurt him a little bit, but that's where we are. But then you had Lenny Euro, you had Calafiori, and then you have Matthias de Ligt, who's been heavily linked with Manchester United. People have tried to link him to other clubs, including Liverpool. Simply not like Liverpool haven't been in for Matthias de Ligt. Then you have Jared Brantwaite at Everton. Of course, Manchester United are being linked there as well, and it's just like the centre half thing seems to be massive this summer. Like, my opinion, I think United have had a fee agreed.
2 bids.
Yeah,
2 bids for Brightwaite turned down.
Yeah, they've 2 bids for him torn down. And I think the last one might be 45 plus 5. They've had a bid agreed of 50 million for Lenny Euro, and apparently they've had, I think it was about 35 million for Matthias de Ligt. Now, if they went and signed all them, they're spending 130 million on centre backs.
Yeah,
they're not
but
signing
they've also
all them.
not a hope. No, but
Are they just using one to fuel the other?
I think the Lenny Euro one is, look, we have to be seen to be in for this guy. We know he's going to Madrid. Everyone knows he's going to Madrid. If it's this summer or next summer, that'll depend on what Madrid want to do. But the player, if a player comes out and makes it known that I want to go to Real Madrid, why are you still chasing after it? It's, you know, unless you're trying to appease your fans, which wouldn't surprise me.
He's with Lille, isn't
he?
Yeah,
he's at Lille. De Ligt makes sense in a lot of ways, because Manchester United at the minute have Sandro Martinez, you have Harry Maguire. They will get Brantwaite through the door because they won't stop until they get him. That just looks like
they've started at a very low base for me at 45 plus 5.
Oh yeah, but that to me looks like the Harry Maguire at Leicester. It's rinse and repeat of that deal. Everton are rightly just holding their nerves and say, look, it's Manchester United. But
apparently Everton are spending some money as well, so people think that. No, I don't know what he spent, but apparently people are saying, oh, Everton are starting to spend a bit of money. Maybe they're spending the Brantwaite money before they accept the deal, so they don't get robbed and stuff like that. But like, you know, De Ligt at 35 million, and you're probably looking at 250 plus a week.
Yeah.
Like Everton shouldn't be selling Brantway for any less than 70 million quid.
No, not in today's market.
I don't care what anyone says.
No, I think he's really, really good. Look, we said it. I remember one of the shows we were on at the beginning of last season when we first really started to take notice of him, and he stood out like a sore thumb. A bad Everton side, he looked really, really good, and he just kicked on right the way through the season. So, and he's a perfect age, English. They'll be mad not to be all over him. Absolutely mad not to be all over him. And if you're to believe what's being said out there, that they're willing to listen to offers for Bruno Fernandes from Saudi as well.
Yeah, because Paul says United have posted £74 million in losses. PSR is coming for them.
Not really, because the sale of Mason Greenwood is pure profit off the top, straight away.
Yeah,
and getting the wages off the books that they've got off the books, is big as well. I think. And look, Manchester United are a behemoth when it comes to money.
Oh, they are, but you see the way things are fixed now is that every year you have to show that it's not every over 3 years anymore. It's every year now. Mm-hmm. So you have to show that you haven't lost. I think that they assess you every year and base it on the last 3 years, whatever way they fucking do it now. But no, United could just literally sell a couple of young lads and be done with it. There's loads of fellas there. So it's...
I mean, even the last year and the year before, the sales of the likes of Elanga and stuff like that, it might not sound like much, but it's how we've been able to function. When we've sold the likes of Solanke and Jordan Ibe and all of these guys that we were selling for 10, 12, 15, 20 million here, there, and ever. That adds up when they're youth players. It makes a massive difference when you're spreading the payment for a Dominic Szoboszlai or Dominic Szoboszlai type player, a big fee over 5 years. If you're able to sell a 15, 20 million pound youth player, one or two a window, it makes a huge difference on the balance sheet. So PSR won't be a problem.
It's the Lenny Yoro one is interesting. I was talking to Shawnee about it because Shawnee watches all the Real Madrid, Barcelona stuff because he's mad into that. And he's convinced. He was like, look, he's not going anywhere else but Real Madrid. Like Real Madrid will literally give them a few quid now, or he'll just sit there for a year and go on a free. And that's what Real Madrid are doing at the minute. They're repurposing their squad with fellas going on frees. United are bidding for that. Like, I'm not saying United won't get Lenny Yoro. I don't know. I haven't a fucking clue. But for me, Lenny Yoro is really, really highly rated, right? Massively rated. But are United doing Lille a favour here by bidding 50 million to try tempt Real Madrid into doing something or put pressure on the player? Because let's be honest with it, if Lenny Yoro goes to Manchester United, he won't go to Real Madrid. That's it.
No, it would be a massive coup. It would be a massive coup for Manchester United if they could be seen to outbid a Real Madrid, given the state that Manchester United are in at the minute.
But the thing is, if Lenny Yoro's looking at it, if he goes and signs for Manchester United on a 5-year deal, and he's really fucking good, Real Madrid aren't going to pay 100 million for him in 3 years. No. Just simply not. No. So,
and I think that's the way
Real Madrid are basically telling them, "This is your chance."
Yeah,
this is your chance.
That's exactly it. If you want to come and play for Real Madrid, this is the way to do it, and this is how you do it, and it's now.
Yeah.
Or in 5 years' time, we might look at you, and it's if you kick on, blah blah blah.
And the thing is with the whole the Euro one, fair enough. And Brantway, I always thought Brantway would end up in Manchester, blue or red. I wasn't too sure, but United seem to be the ones going for them. I'm amazed City aren't doing something along that lines.
Me too. To be honest,
I really thought City would look at him. But
they still might.
I always thought the lit always came out as their first kind of real target, and I always thought that the Lenny Yoro link and even the Brantway a little bit was basically trying to push Bayern into, we'll go and sign someone else if you won't take this deal. But it's a bit of a mad one what's going on with centre halves, and I do feel Liverpool are going to need to buy a centre half, but none of the names are hopping out at me.
Like, the list
doesn't hop out at me.
No, I'm still convinced. Slaughterback is when I said him when we did our first
Yeah,
one of our first shows of the summer, and I still think he's that type of player. Calafiori going to Arsenal is Arsenal setting up with Mini Pep setting up four centre backs to play across the back four. Calafiori will play as a left back,
yeah,
and Mini Pep will just set Arsenal up with four centre backs next season, the same
yeah,
way as Man City did. But I think Slaughterback is that type of player. He's the right age. He's played enough. He's experienced enough. It looks to me he's the type of player that Liverpool would have gone for. Played a couple of 100 games, international, starting his career in international football. Not quite top tier or first name of the team sheet for Germany yet, but you can see where he will be in the very near future. Kind of like Szoboszlai in that respect in the Bundesliga, where he's played a lot of football, but not too much football. And I think that's the kind of centre back we need. We need someone who can come in, play in a back four, who is going to be almost as good as what we got. You're not going to sign better than Virgil van Dijk, so you're looking for that one who's just below, that rung below, who's ready to make the next step up. And there isn't that many of them out there, to be fair.
yeah. Because like when I see the names being bandied about, I kind of like, there's some with massive future potential, but established centre halves out there, or even ones around 22, 23 that you look as established, but can get better and better, and could be your centre back for the next 7-8 years. I don't think they're hopping out. I really, really don't. Like Super Dizzle said, would anyone take the lit? I love the lit at Ajax.
Yeah.
A real defender. I love them. But my worry over the lit is that he leaves Ajax. I think he leaves the season too early. And I think Gravenberch is the same. Right? And even was it Danny Van der Beek left at the same time as well?
Danny Van der Beek, yeah. Danny
And
Van der Beek.
I think they all left a year too early.
Yeah.
Because they go into these teams, you look at Danny Van der Beek, like I thought he was magnificent for Ajax and just lost at Manchester United. You look at the lit goes to Juventus, had a great chance there to be, their main man for so many years, when you looked at the centre-backs they had, the age profile of the centre-backs. And, doesn't happen for him. Goes to Bayern. Hasn't happened there really either for him. And my worry is if you get the lit, you get him in. He's 24, I think, and this will be his fourth major club by 24. Like if the lit is as good as people think he is, or people said he was, and his attitude is as good as people would like it to be, he's not leaving Juventus and he's not leaving Bayern. That's just my thing on it. That's just my thing. Maybe the clubs were wrong for him at the wrong time, but I do think the lit, Donny van der Beek, and Ryan Gravenberch should have stayed at Ajax for one more season. It wouldn't have hurt them whatsoever.
No, I think the telltale sign is you look at how the Dutch set up in this European Championships with Virgil van Dijk and Stefan de Vrij as the centre-back pairing. De Ligt never got a look. Might have come off the bench once or twice really late.
Yeah.
If he was as good as what they think he is, he would have started ahead of Stefan de Vrij.
Yeah.
And he just hasn't. And de Vrij he's a good, solid, dependable centre-back. He's got a rick in him, but he's a defender. He's a proper defender. And he couldn't, De Ligt couldn't shift him out of the way. I think if he goes to United, he doesn't start, he'll be an option for them to use in a rotation, very similar to Harry Maguire. But the manager knows him, and if the manager thinks he can get something out of him that others couldn't, and bring him back to somewhere near where he was at Ajax, then it could turn out to be that's why I think, forget about the wages for a sec. He's 24 years of age, 35 million. If you can get him anywhere near back to what he was, it'll be a bargain. If it doesn't, it was a gamble that didn't pay off.
Yeah, but
and he turned into the thing is, Morata type player. He just keeps moving and moving and moving.
I agree with you. If he comes in on 250 grand a week and 34 million, and that's fair enough, right? If you can get him back to anywhere close to where he was at Ajax, I think you're doing great. But form will tell you that you're not going to.
No.
And the Premier League leads your life very fucking quickly. Owen Brooks' Van der Beek is going to Girona now apparently for £500,000.
Yeah, he is,
Like he was so fucking good, Van der Beek. Like when they banged on about Frankie de Jong, who's a brilliant footballer, when they banged on about him and You know, you were like, oh, Frankie de Jong. Van der Beek was just outstanding on that side. How he
That
linked
Ajax side,
everything.
that Ajax side is the perfect balance between
It was so good.
Danny Van der Beek. Yeah, you had De Jong behind him. You had a young, aggressive centre back in De Ligt, and the spine of the team was so good, and they were just so good to watch as well. And they didn't care. They had no respect for any reputation of anyone that they played. They just went and played. And it's like big fish in small pond syndrome. When you take them out of where they were comfortable and what the environment that they absolutely knew everything about, it just didn't work. None of them ever got back to where they were.
Yeah.
Frankie de Jong is probably the exception to the rule,
Yeah.
where he went to Barcelona and he has improved.
Yeah.
The
I
rest
think
of
Frankie
them
de Jong is a brilliant footballer, and there was all sorts going on with him and his contract and stuff like that. Before we finish up, a couple of other names being linked. And look, you know, people are asking in the chat, what are we going to do with regards to like Matip, Thiago leaving? Are we going to fill them with youth players, or what are we going to do? I genuinely believe we will sign. If it was me, it's definitely a centre half and it's definitely a defensive midfielder. Definitely in the summer. Now, of course, Arne Slot has said, look, 4-2-3-1. You know, I don't know where you get this from. You know, it's 4-3-3. It's this, that, and the other. I think he would. I think he will look for that. Up front, I think you'll only see moving up front if someone goes. That's where I am with it. But couple of things. So the first one is this young lad from Chelsea. Now, I wouldn't usually take pay any attention to this stuff. You know, I literally wouldn't pay any attention to it. He's a young lad signing for the academy, but Chelsea seem to be up in arms over this. To the point where like they're going, like Chelsea fans are literally going, this is for them probably their best young prospect, and he's going to Liverpool. So it's Rio, and I want to say Engamoa, something along that lines. I'm hoping I'm saying his name right. Someone will probably phonetically tell me how to say it. But this lad's 14 or 15 years of age. Again, when these things happen, it was like, you know, young flip signing might see him in a few years.
Youth players move all the time.
There's so much noise over this, Kev. So much noise over it. And not from the Liverpool end. I don't think Liverpool look like they are going to get this deal done. There was talk they were going to break all sorts of structures, but that's being taken as no, that's not going to happen. They'd be joining on the same structures every other youth player at Liverpool, where they can't drive a car over a certain size leader, and you know, all sorts of stuff. Yeah. They can only be paid a certain amount, but Chelsea seem to be like literally going bananas over this. Like, is he that good, Kev?
I don't know, and that's the truth.
He's 16 on July the 21st.
Here's the thing: the person who broke it, or who first announced it and caveated it that Liverpool are going to break their wage structure, that's what irked me the most. But I looked at the comments underneath because it just caught my eye really within a few minutes. And the first probably 20 comments were Chelsea fans. Oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. He's so good. He's so talented. It's a big loss. What have you. And I looked at these accounts then. I'm like, yeah, these aren't your normal blue tick wankers. These are like normal Chelsea fans who like Liverpool fans who comment under a thread and be like, oh yeah, it's considered a bit of a considered opinion. And, okay, fair enough. This kid might be about something. You look in then and you look at what he's done. He's played at all the age groups up through for England. Seen a few YouTube highlights of him in youth teams, and really quick feet, winger. But at that age, you could be anything. You haven't a clue what this kid is going to do. Nobody knows. But at the end of the day, the one thing I think that's massive for us, you can turn around to any youth player of caliber and say, look at that League Cup final. Yeah. Look at that League Cup final. Look who won it. Look where they came from. Look at the opportunities they had at the start of preseason. Look at the amount of games they played in the first team. And they weren't jobbers. They came in and they did a job. You know, they did what was expected of a first team player. The pathways are there. Whereas if you're at Chelsea and you're buying 10, 15, 20 players a window, it's absolutely ridiculous. There's no rhyme or reason to what Chelsea are doing. And if you're a talented 15, 16, 17-year-old at Chelsea...
You get out of there as quick as you can.
Well, years ago, Chelsea, that was their bread and butter, their academy.
Well, yeah, years ago, their bread and butter was they signed young players, they sent them out on loan. if they were brilliant, they come back and play it. If they weren't so brilliant, they got some exposure around Europe in the likes of France, Germany, Holland in particular, and they come back and they go, they're not going to quite make it, but we're going to turn 10 million on them. And they've done this, and this subsidised them all the time. Now, how much it actually subsidised them is up for
but
debate, because Abramovich still gave them 1.6 billion over the course of his ownership.
I think this move, if he's a significant talent at Chelsea, I think this must set alarm bells running through Chelsea that they have a huge problem coming up on the rails. That if they keep signing all of these players from around Europe and around the world, they're going to lose their bread and butter, because they haven't signed pro forms yet. They're still on schoolboy contracts. They can move, and there will young players now are looking at the likes of, and in fairness, Chelsea have just sold one, Ian Maatsen. Ian Maatsen gone from Chelsea to Villa after a season-long loan at Borussia Dortmund. The way he was treated by Chelsea was shambolic. Played a Champions League final, lost, got a big move to Villa on the strength of a good loan move. If Chelsea start to see that income dry up, the people who should know better, and they should be worried. They should be really worried.
Yeah. Kevin Ball says they've lost 2 lads in the academy staff recently. Robin Maguire says Chelsea academy players are all over the place. It's the best in England. Yeah, they're very good. Like, don't get me wrong, Chelsea are really good at taking new players, sending them out on loan and stuff like that. They have got players all over the place, right? But my thing is, Chelsea a couple of years ago, when they were really successful, would bring these players in, would get them a loan move to good teams, like the good teams, and then if it didn't happen, they would turn them over and get 10 million, 15 million, 5 million, whatever it might be, and it all added up. The problem I think Chelsea have now is that they're not even looking to bring these players in and loan them or whatever it might be. They're basically going, we're just signing these 10 players here. And the players that would usually come up through the ranks maybe have a go at Chelsea and see what happens, and maybe have to move on. They're not quite good enough. Maybe it's just me, but I kind of get the feeling that that's gonna get log jammed now. You know, there's only so many players you can fucking have at the club, and they seem to just bring in player after player after player. And I don't know, maybe they have a plan behind it, but it seems a bit of a muddle. Chelsea signed the young striker from Barcelona, is now going to Sevilla on loan. Yeah, they do that. But what I'm saying is that, right, if you sign a player from Barcelona and send him out to Sevilla on loan, fine. But what I'm saying is these young lads coming through, 14, 15, 16, right? Instead of them getting looked at and loaned, what's happening is the lads that are 18, 19, 20, they aren't going to get near your first team, definitely need loans. So you have to get them in and get them out for loans. So these lads in that age bracket that would look to break through or look to get to 17 and get loans, they might get overlooked. And that's all I'm saying. But look,
definitely a one to watch,
listen,
for sure.
We're watching Chelsea and he thinks it's fucking madness, but no one's stopping them. Like, nobody's stopping them. You know what I mean? And they're selling assets, problem. They're selling hotels to themselves. And listen, we can go on about it as much as we want, but at the end of the day, nobody's stopping them doing what they're doing. And not even stopping them, but just going, listen, I think this might be a bit mad, which is they're doing here, but no one's saying anything to them. One other name, I think you threw at me before we finished, Joe Neves. You know, his name popped around the place early in the summer. It's come back up now. Seen a couple of reports saying Liverpool are looking at Joe Neves. Benfica, isn't he?
Benfica, yeah.
And apparently the buyout clause for him is £101 million. And Liverpool are looking at this, but I take that with a pinch of salt, Kev.
Yeah, me too. I think he's a really talented young fella.
Yeah.
I mean, really, really talented. He looks so good on the ball whenever I watched Portugal play. No anything about what he's done for his club side, but to be at that age and getting into the Portugal side and looking comfortable and looking like he belongs at that level, he looks. There's definitely something about him. For that kind of money, I want to see a lot more of him.
Yeah.
You know, before you be splashing out club record fees.
Well, again, Sean, he's one that's watched quite a bit of him, and he's raves and raves and raves about him. But It's
The other one apparently we were loosely linked with as well while you were away. I think I don't know if you've seen it. It was João Gomez, the kid from Wolves.
oh yeah,
Um,
he's all big
yeah,
fans of him, aren't he?
I like him, and
Yeah,
8 Nuri as well as the other one.
yeah. Carl
But
says
again,
Liverpool
that's
aren't
all.
going anywhere near that price. No, listen, I
No,
take it all with a
and I
pinch of
don't think
salt.
anyone should.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone should at that age,
No.
at that level of experience.
Yeah.
He's basically had one full season at Benfica, and on the
Yeah.
back of that, it would be like signing Kobe Mainu for £105 million. As good
Yeah,
as
but I'd have no
as
problem.
good as
I'd
a
have no
start as he's
problem.
had.
I'd have no problem if someone said to me, Liverpool are looking at this fella, and what they've done is they're going to give £60 million for him. But there's massive incentives on top of that. So it could rise to £90 million if he plays so many games, wins so many things. I have no problem with that because you're covering yourself and you're not hanging yourself out to dry for 101 million from the get go. People that watch them absolutely love him. I haven't seen enough of him, but at 101 million, people will say, look, well, didn't we fucking put 105 million on the table for Moises Caicedo? Yeah, we did. But there's arguments
I
both
think
ways.
for that kind of money, genuinely, and I don't care what anyone, and this would be for any club. At that kind of money, you have to be backing a surefire even money in a 2-horse
And a
race.
surefire thing doesn't always work. If you look at
No,
Moises Caicedo at Chelsea, I don't think he pulled up any trees.
they rarely do.
Yeah,
Even Enzo Fernandez is a good player. He's not £120 million player.
yeah. Ashley
He's a
says they're
very
trying
good
to, and Ashley feels that they're trying to do an Enzo Fernandez 2.0 with that buyout price. Yeah, absolutely.
Someone is stupid enough to pay it. Good luck.
So someone asked us there before we leave. Oh, Jerry says thoughts on the new Ireland manager, lads. Listen, I don't know what to say. Like literally 8
I
months.
just say the FAI are broke.
I think about 8 months is it since Stephen Kenny left the job at Ireland.
Yeah.
He leaves the job. They say that they're doing this process. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And next of all, a fella that leaves Jamaica last week gets the job. And
After getting trounced out of the Copa America as well. Not even, and I mean that's not a bad Jamaican side. There's some players that everyone knows in that Jamaican side.
But it just shows. But listen,
hopped off it.
Regardless of what the name is, right? This guy had a job 10 days ago.
Yeah.
And now he's the Ireland manager. And I don't know. Like, best of luck to him.
Yeah.
But I think it just shines a light even more so now on what a shambles the Football Association of Ireland is. An absolute 100%. And utter shambles. And the couple of things on this. You don't go 8 months without a manager to appoint someone that's left a Jamaica job 10 days ago. That's one. And two, the way they've been ran and the way people have taken money out of that association as a fucking hobby over the last 10 years, right? And you can't offer someone decent money to manage the Ireland team. It's an absolute recipe for disaster. And it's only going to continue. Because there's nobody going in there to make changes. They'll just continue on and tell each other how great they are. And sure, look, we've a young team. And another generation of Ireland footballers will pass by. Will they sit around going, you know what? Didn't we have a great time in 2012 and 2016 or whatever it was?
That's the sickener because, look, I follow Gar Breen and Gar's doing his coaching badges and stuff on Twitter. And it's like, he talks a lot online about the state of the league, the coaching in the League of Ireland and the players. But at youth level, Ireland have done really well over the last few years. There is a good core crop of young players coming through. And you're giving them a guy whose basic formula for football is 4-4-2, men behind the ball, defend the edge of the box to win an inch of your life, and hoof it long and hope. Yeah. That's what he did with Iceland. That's what he tried to do with Jamaica, and God help us. It's not even the case of the Jack Charltons, because when Jack Charlton was doing it, Jack was doing it with John Aldridge and Niall Quinn up front.
There
was a bit of method to the madness.
Yeah, but listen, the disappointment is it's fucking laughable.
It is a joke,
right?
It is a joke.
And that's no reflection on the guy that's got the job, but it's laughable. The whole process, who it is, he's probably fucking on minimum wage the way the FAI are running at this stage. But you were talking about there about Garbreen and the League of Ireland and stuff. The League of Ireland's biggest issue is the FAI.
Yeah.
Right? Because over the last years, and Brexit has compounded this, more players that had gone off to England from Ireland were coming back. And they weren't coming back at 33 and 34 for a few quid. They were coming back in the primes of their career because they didn't like it. It wasn't happening for them. Came back. The quality of the League of Ireland has grown and grown and grown. I would say arguably for the last 10 years. The crowds have grown and grown and grown. The facilities are getting better and better. And each club now is being put under pressure to improve their facilities. You know, and when you look at the likes of Shamrock Rovers and the stadium they have and the academy that they have. Now people will say, oh, well, the council own that ground. That's the way it should go. That's the way it should go. The council should own all the grounds. The football club should be the anchor tenants that get absolute priority. And that means then that you're not worrying about the upkeep of your ground. The council do all that because they want to attract people in to use that stadium in the off-season and stuff like that. You look at the players that have come back and play it. You look at the amount that are staying in the league because Brexit won't allow them to go off at 16 now. Or they have to be 17, I think, or over to go over to England, right? So, but the biggest problem is the FAI because the FAI hold rank on this. Literally, right? If there's 4 teams in Europe from Ireland this week, right? From Europe this week. If any of them get through this round, they will make more money from that 2 legs, than they would from winning the League of Ireland.
Yeah.
Right? So the biggest problem with the League of Ireland is the FAI. It always has been. They hold everything back, right? They don't want to put money in. All this grassroots. Come here. You're talking to the fucking wall. You know what I mean? And it just compounds it today. That appointment today is laughable. Absolutely laughable. It is horrific. And again, it's no reflection on the guy that's got the job. He's gone for the job. He's got it, right?
When you look at who we were linked with all summer long, you know, they're going to go for this guy, that guy, the other guy. They were talking about Lee Carsley. Lee Carsley is in the hunt for the England job.
Yeah, he's doing so well.
He's England's under 21 manager, won the Euros with them, and he's in the hunt for the England job. Chris Hughton, you know, another one, Premier League experience. They can't attract him to come and work for this Ireland setup.
Yeah,
it's not as if there aren't coaches out there.
Yeah,
I mean, for God's sake, they tried to interview Sam Allardyce for fuck's sake.
Yeah, but Jerry says John Delaney made more money before expenses than the league winners. John Delaney made 4 times the amount that league winners win in this country. That's the truth. But look, best of luck to the guy that's got the job. But God love you, because what you're going into there is absolutely off the wall. And I'll say it now. I'll say it now, and people can fucking hold me to this. League of Ireland is in such a good spot at the moment with the exposure it's getting, the crowds it's getting, the quality of football, the players staying on to play, and rather than going to England at the first available opportunity. The best thing the League of Ireland could do, right, as soon as he possibly can, is break away from the FA.
Do what the Premier League did.
Yeah, break away and go, listen, we'll play under your rules, but we're running our own ship now. And it's been muted a couple of times and being shot down. It's the best thing that could ever happen. Honestly, the best thing that could ever happen. But that's where we are. Link is in the description for our fundraiser. If you want to donate, please do so. If you can't take the link, share it amongst your friends, your family. Bring it into work, post it on the wall, wherever you want to do. It's there for us and it's there for Phil's as well. I was away on a week's holiday. I'm back now, so we will try to do more stuff. We'll be doing shows as much as we can. So today is Wednesday, isn't it? We'll try to do one tomorrow. We'll try to do one Friday. The Euro final is on Sunday, so I don't know what's going to happen there. A lot of the lads will be out probably watching it, but we'll see how we get on. And then we'll be absolutely back to normal from next week, and we'll be doing all things Liverpool and transfers and whatever you want to talk about over the next little while. If you want to become a member, please do so as well. $3.99 a month, and as I said, a lot of our shows are for members, and you do get them on a download later on. But if you want to be a member and get all this stuff live and as it happens, go ahead and do that as well. Kev, anything else before we go?
No, man, I think we covered a boatload in there.
Yeah, we did. We got loads in there in an hour. Yeah, we done well. Bang on the hour as well. We're the best boys. Right, away on holiday says YouTube name Notions. Yeah, going on holiday for a week is Notions. Yeah, unbelievable, ridiculous stuff from me. But it'll be the last one I have now for about 2 years, I'd say. But that has been it. We will talk to you soon. Thanks a million to Kev. Thanks a million to everyone in the chat. Hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe. All that sort of stuff. And we'll talk to you soon. Over now.